Hi, guys. This is Map to Success back again with another interview. And look who we have in the studio with us today, guys. Please introduce yourself. Lovely.
Hi, this is Justyna coming to you from Ottawa. My handle on Twitter is Woman Blockchain.
All right. Nice, nice. It is such a pleasure to have you in the studio today. And we're actually going to go over a few key things that's been going on. Why don't you share a little bit to the audience of what you actually do and why you're here?
Okay, so what I do is I run a non-for-profit called Women in Blockchain Canada. So in Ottawa and Montreal, I do events. And basically, those events are educational. I get sponsors, and we try to educate people about what blockchain is, what crypto is, how to do different things within the space and connect different people together. So that's what I've been doing. But as well, I go to a lot of conferences to meet people and to interview them and to spread awareness and adoption.
Okay, nice, nice, perfect. And I noticed that you have the hodl hat on. I don't have a hodl hat on today because it's
I'm being
it's it,
tropical. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah, I'm being real tropical this month. It's just one of those things it's just one of the phases, I guess. But it's a really cool hat. It's a really cool hat. I'm pretty sure it piques a lot of people's interest. A lot of people might see and ask about it. But I heard you were saying the other day that you went to this conference in I think was it in Montreal? It's called Futurist.
Oh,
Tell us a little bit more about Futurist and what it is.
so the Futures Conference happens every summer in Toronto. It's basically spreading awareness and
I think we lost
mostly
her for
things
a
that are
second.
going on within the space. And it's really wonderful because it's not just a conference that, you go to and uh, you network. There's also a lot of, it's pretty interactive. They make, like they put the food really gets you involved. It's a pretty hands-on conference, and it's also a lot of fun. I really feel like whenever I go to this conference, there's they really the attitude is sort of like, you go in, you do business, but you're also having a really good time with people. So yeah.
Oh, that is really interesting. That is very interesting. And a lot of people really are getting more interactive with these conferences and they're getting more and more educated as they go by and they just keep getting bigger and better like every year. Because it's like I never really knew about what the Futurist conference was until this year, and it just like completely blew my mind what they actually had to offer. Like all the things that they do, all the different companies, all the blockchains is just like coming together to just interlock and just make the whole decentralized nation of what we love as cryptocurrency, just flourish in like one big weekend, which is like absolutely awesome. You know what I mean? So it's definitely been one of those things that's piqued my interest, and just one of the things to look for. Just like they would have like the Litecoin conference that's like just started and it's like growing and getting bigger and better. It's just one of those things that is just pushing to the forefront that shows people that adoption is definitely coming. It's here. You heard
Absolutely, absolutely.
it.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's like one of the things though, it's like what actually gravitated you to cryptos and what actually invited you to the space? Like tell us like how did you get started out?
Good question. So I actually started out at first getting introduced to it through friends. They were really into it. They owned a Bitcoin ATM, and they were talking to me about the ethical side of crypto in terms of like sending money and like how little it takes to send money and how much easier it is. So it's not taking so much from the user, whereas other places are, charging higher fees and it's more difficult to send. So I thought that was an interesting concept. So then they showed me a lot of documentaries. but I was still skeptical, I would say, at that point, you know. But then after a while, I just became more into them, you know, and now I'm doing this. So it's kind of really funny because they're like sitting in the background there and doing their thing, and then I'm out here, you know, at the forefront of things. So it's taken an interesting turn for sure. But it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and I think like I didn't really know what I was going to do first. But we all went to a conference together, and I met Cody there. I met Ken Bozak there, and that's kind of where I started in Atlantic City. And it wasn't like the conference was just okay, but the people that I met at the conference were amazing. And from there, you know, I got recommended to and to go to the Futurist conference. I went and I ended up seeing Larry King, and I do photography, so I photographed him, and then things kind of blew up on social media, and I was like, oh, I guess this is a whole thing. Why don't I try this out?
Wow, that is amazing. That's like a dream story right there.
Well,
That's
it's been like a dream thing. So yeah. And then I came back to Ottawa, and I just grinded, you know, like I would just get up in the morning and do my Twitter, and I have a full daytime job, and then I'd also be hustling and just like writing emails to companies. And within like a month of the Futurist conference, I organized my own event in my city, Ottawa, and I got a free space. I got donations for kombucha, and I got 100 people in the room, and it was like insane that this happened. Because
wow.
people are like, "Who's gonna come to this anyway?" And then it just like all came together, and
Wow.
and then it spiraled. I got invited to Malta. Then I met people in Malta that helped me do my events in Montreal. So it's really, I think that the beauty that I see in this space is once you're like open hearted and you're open minded, and you just kind of go in and meet people with the idea that you're here for a reason about like sharing and adoption and like spreading knowledge. You know, people will open up avenues for you that you didn't even know existed, and then that will take you somewhere else you didn't even know you were going. So
Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. I definitely admire the hustle and the grind and all the hard work that you've been putting in, because you know we all have to play our part. You know, that's definitely what's going to push adoption to the next level and have people know exactly what we're trying to push out there. And for the whole nonprofit organization, that's incredible. To have that literally start like overnight, it's almost like that's like a dream come true for a lot of people. But it's like it's the constant work that you've been putting in, all the people that you've actually met up with, all the friends that you make along the way. And it's just incredible because it's like you would see somebody on Twitter. They live on the other side of the planet. And you just simply send them one text message, and then it's like you guys just automatically start this new relationship. You keep on track of others like through the Twitter feeds and videos and all that stuff. And all that it is just really bringing people together to make awesome friends in places that they didn't even know existed.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, I met a lot of friends in the US, I would say too, online. And then it's amazing when you meet them in like in real life. You know, there's people I interact with all the time, and then it's like I've known you for like 4 months online, but now we're getting to meet in person. So it's also really cool to be like, you get people's personalities, you get people's sense of humor, and then you get to meet them. And I think for me, I've got like this whole journey has been about getting rid of fear, you know, and finding a voice and just not being afraid to speak up. So for some people, it's like, oh, it's just crypto. For me, it's like, no, this has pushed me so much as a human being.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I know for me, like if you've actually watched any of my videos or seen any of my interviews or anything like that, I'm all about pushing for adoption. Like I'm like over the heels, like just out there pushing, telling all that I could actually meet up with, you know, the resource that we have working on, how you could actually protect your wealth and build wealth within crypto in a whole. And the crypto sphere by itself is like something that's like in a hyperbolic time chamber. It's like it's just moving so fast. It's like today you will hear one news, tomorrow and then it's like in a 24-hour period, so much has happened. It's like in a regular, like in a regular market, you would see stuff happen in like a year. It happens in a week or even in a day. And it's just so amazing how stuff can happen. It's just so incredible. But it's like for me, for most part, I like to do things that really stand out, that grabs people attention. Just like you have, the crypto hollow hat on, and I basically like I go out there with my own crypto swag. I got my Digibyte socks on. I might have my Pay with Litecoin t-shirt on. Somebody might see like, what is that? Like that looks different. Like I've never seen that before. What is that about? And then that just like sparks up a whole new conversation. And that's when you just step in and everything just kicks in. You're like, okay, I'm about to school them a little bit about this. They're probably gonna be addicted like we are by the time they're done.
Yeah, it's definitely that's definitely a good way to do it, And people like nickname me Bitcoin, It's just like the Bitcoin girls there. So it's a lot of fun. I do a lot of like interactive stuff. I love going. I don't think I did enough this summer, but I did like going to the crypto cafe in Montreal. I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to go back. You can pay with crypto, and I just love I think people really like to see things in real life. They like to see things online, but they also really enjoy seeing you in real life, interacting with the world and actually doing things with this. And I think that's part of like why I do the events, because it's like you really get to tell people, and they get to ask you the questions at that time, and then you kind of tell them, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm up to. This is all the use cases you can use it for. And it's kind of amazing, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it is incredible. It is incredible. And I know for sure, like, even with stuff that people could just create online, like all these challenges, like the 777 challenge, they have like the newest challenge that they had now is like for the Digibot challenge. I'm not sure if you actually seen that circulating, but it's been brewing up a storm lately. Like these guys that are like they're my friends all the way from over in the UK, the crypto mug investors. Shouts out to them. They actually have like a channel. They might have like this interview that's supposed to be coming out sometime this afternoon, but they have been like hustling. They really just like came up from nothing and just like completely changed the game for like investments and how you could actually put information out there for the regular individual, to just understand exactly what blockchain is, how you could actually move forward with making a sound investment, what to look for, what not to look for, what to stay away from. And it's just like one of those things where it was just needed. They were just needed in the space. It's just one of those people that, whenever they have like an interview and somebody comes on, it makes sense. It's something that you really want to stick around and watch and look out for time and time again. And
Mm-hmm.
that's literally like the space that I try to create, of having all these people that are doing stuff that is so wonderful for the space and for their communities. You just definitely have to have it documented. So like, this maybe like a year or two down the road, we might be able to put it on the blockchain and it'll be there forever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, things are technology moves at a speed, and no, you can't really predict everything. But I think, in this space, there's still so much interest in so many things that it can be used for. It's pretty much a race. People are just trying to make it happen. So I'm always curious as to what's happening, and I love how it evolves. So it's like, even though one day you know something, the next day you're like, wow, I still have so much to learn. That's why I feel like in this space too, it's you kind of see, you know, the growth in people. Like I've seen people, like the people that do get into it, there's so much that they end up learning and really enjoying, because there's so much depth there.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. And then it's like even more so with people that create meetups, because you said that you've actually did a really good meetup and it was really successful. Like a lot of people turned out that you really didn't expect. But even like with this guy, Bitcoin Ben, he does all these meetups. You probably have heard about him from Litecoin Lisa and Clint Westwood and
Oh,
those
oh
other
yeah.
guys.
Bitcoin Ben and I follow each other, and like we shout out to each other. I did an interview with him and Wild West Crypto, but then like we don't know where that video went, so I just did another one.
Oh wow,
But
that's crazy.
but it's like like I literally met him. We did the interview, and he's like, "Yeah, so I noticed on your Instagram you're always going to the gym, and I feel kind of guilty watching it, but like props to you for that." And I was like, "Cool." Like, when
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Because I seen a couple of those videos too. Because I was like, look, like shouts out to you because you win with all of those poses that you do. I don't think we could, I don't know if some of us men are able to pull that off, but
it's all practice, but yeah, you know, I think life is sort of like a balance between you dancing with like all the fun that you have, but also like all the grind that you have, you know? And so for me, it's like I need to go. Like for me, the gym is like my oasis. You know, I go there, I like my brain goes into a different sphere and I listen to things and then that brings in the creativity so that when I get out, it's like, okay, now I can produce content, I can create and that. And I think that's a lot of fun, you know, because it stimulates the brain.
yeah, yeah, it definitely does. Because I think a lot of people might believe that, because we're in the crypto sphere and it might be really addictive and it's like nonstop checking the markets, looking at news and all that stuff. Like we have like, normal lives that we actually have to get back to. Like we do stuff on the regular, whereas we have jobs that we do. We have like other activities that we might do on the side, to keep ourselves like through all the corrections, ups and downs of the markets, because that stuff could really, that stuff could really take you for a loop sometimes. But it's just amazing too, because it's like you could be in the space for like a year, and you're considered an OG for some reason. That's like,
Well, like you said, it's things move very differently, and I still think it's a new place. And I think, like, you know, I just think like let's not discriminate anyone. I think anybody who comes in at any time, the most important thing is that like we're inclusive. The whole point of Bitcoin is inclusion, not exclusion. It's like let's get people in. So I'm always like saying, you know, like it's meant to unite, not separate. We're removing like it's borderless, you know? So let's have that mindset, the mindset of like uniting, I think. And that's why for me, like you said, yeah, it's a space definitely where things move so fast and it's so fresh and so new. It's uh it's good to have people creating proper content so that other people aren't confused about what's going on.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Because it's like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make stuff that people could watch and enjoy and learn from at the same time with at least a little bit of humor so you could laugh and feel good about yourself at the end of the video. Because it's like, it's so many different things out there could, that just easily get people down and have them in a whole rut, especially if they were like in a phase like 2017 where they literally lost like almost all of their portfolios and they look at it like, why should I even look at this space anymore? Like, does this make any sense? I just lost like all this money and there's no point of me doing anything to try to get it back. But it's like, I mean, if you actually like just have like some patience and hodl, like you would have dramatically seen an increase back in your portfolio, your portfolio. Like it would be like at least back up here rather than being down here when it was in 2017 when everybody was like, oh my
It's
gosh.
all human psychology, you know. It's like the FOMO game. People FOMO in because it's green. Then people are like, well, I got to sell now. So then they sell. And then you're always going to have the winners and the losers. But I think like the important thing is educate yourself, do your own research, but also like, you know, learn about the long term game. Like, why is this existing? And if you know the technology and if you know what it's based on and the scarcity that it created, it's like, Bitcoin, you know, I like watching pomp stuff because it's like it's very factual. Like, look, this is how it's performing. This is what it's doing. This is what's happening, you know? So like you said, it's like look at things long term, not short term. You look at a graph and it's like, yeah, you know, overall, like it's been an upward trend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, it is. It definitely is. And I gotta say, I gotta commend Pompliano because he was like, he is definitely a genius as far as that goes. They have done so much for the space in the background that a lot of people really don't even notice. But trust me, he is working, and
Oh,
he
I know these, like, I definitely know. I interact a lot with that crowd on Twitter, but yeah, for sure. It's
yeah. Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely does. Because I'm definitely trying my hardest to get him on the show so we could actually have a full-fledged conversation and find out, just to have a little pick at his brain and see how his mind functions. Because he is like he operates like a computer. He definitely does. Because that like the knowledge that this man has, like you have to look at him like, oh my gosh, like this is just phenomenal. It is definitely different. You don't see this every day.
Well, I think definitely they probably, like that whole, like Morgan Creek, I think they have like a good team too, probably like a really solid team. And it just speaks for itself. But I think like it's also very important to mention like for people to read books in the space. I mean, podcasts are amazing and I do that too. And I think what also has helped me is reading um, the Bitcoin Standard, reading like the blockchain revolution, and really getting like that comprehensive view, big picture wise. So, so that people understand um, that sort of like the more details of like what's going on.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because it's this other young lady too that I was actually speaking to like a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna have her on the show pretty soon. Her name is Sam Rad. She's on Twitter. She actually came out with a Bitcoin book the other day, and it is pretty amazing. Like she's gonna be on the show pretty soon, but we're still trying to work stuff out, trying to get her in the free time when she has, because it's been like so much going on. It's just like your foundation started off. She wrote a book, and then after she wrote that book, everything just like skyrocketed. People just like calling her left, right, and center. She's doing interviews. It's going on. I think it should be heading to the Amazon bookstores. I know that it's on Kindle and all of those platforms already, but she's working very hard. And she basically just like gave out a few copies so people could read and make reviews on it and see what it actually is about, if they like it or not, if the stories are factual or not. And she's done a pretty good job. She's really done a pretty good job. So we all are like working together to bring this eco space together, and it's like interlocks so brilliantly when you think about it. It's so many things coming in from all different areas that it's like, whether it's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, you know, all these
Yeah, it's
foundations.
yeah, everybody is working really hard, and I met a lot of people from like the Litecoin Foundation in during the Magical Crypto Friends conference. I've had the pleasure of like talking to Lisa. I interact with a lot of Litecoin fam on Twitter. So yeah, for sure. I think I think the space is definitely a great place to interact with all sorts of people from um, you know all sorts of walks of life, and it's just really interesting to see like them being on the grind and spreading adoption and doing things. I love meeting people in real life and getting advice out. I went to Wendy O and I'm like, Wendy O, like, so how do you do your meetups? you know and just I talked to Lisa and I'm like, okay, so how did you fundraise for your non-for-profit? And it's just amazing because you get these people who've been doing it, and you get to like get their advice, and they're just so great. I'm still like surprised to this day. um I think for me the biggest shocker has just been like the kind of people I've been attracting. Like you meet someone, and like I met Cody, and then Cody's like, meet Ken. Then I met Ken, and Ken's like, I'll see you futurist. Then Ken's like, oh, what about getting sponsors for your event? Then I met other people, and they're like, oh, well, we can also. Um, Gowling came to me, and they're like my law firm, so I'm getting legal services, and it's just been like this incredible ride, where like I get to like learn and grow and contribute, and that just makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Like, you are doing such a good job, and it's just like it's just amazing to what you're actually getting accomplished like in such a short amount, it's just a short amount of time. It's just imagine like what you could get done within the next year or two down the road. It's going to be incredible. Trust me. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to some really great things coming out of that. And it's like,
And
oh,
same for you. And same for you, like I think you're connected to the right people that are super helpful in the space and open-minded. And I think that makes a huge difference. And then, if you ask the right questions and you keep doing what you're doing, like it's just putting in the work, like David Goggins, I'm listening to his book, Can't Hurt Me Now. That's definitely on my roster, but I'm a huge reader. Like when I walk, I read. When I bike, I'm reading, like I'm always trying to like absorb, like where is my next idea gonna, like, it's gonna like spark something in my brain. And it's just like like discipline, getting up early, getting your things done, going to the workout, being on your grind, making those posts, going and doing it over and over and over until it becomes so natural. You're not even thinking about it. Your body just goes in and does it, And that's sort of like, I feel like every week is another chance for me to be a better person.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Because especially in this space, it's like every day that goes by is just another day. You're just thankful to be alive in the times when we're actually living in and seeing like stuff,
Absolutely.
you
Like
know.
it's revolutionary and we're here, we're out here. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because I know for sure, like if we keep putting in the work that we're putting in now and just keep grinding and pushing at it, we're definitely gonna be in the top 1% of those individuals when everything turns around. Like when the table turns, we will definitely be there. Because I know for sure that like with the knowledge that we've been, researching and what we keep on pushing and learning and the stuff that keeps going on in the daily and we keep ourselves constantly in the loop. I mean, the sky's the limit. The sky's
Yeah.
definitely the limit.
The sky is the limit and the sky's limitless. So there's no limit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Don't even
exactly.
confine it. Let it like float on its own. Like let it float it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And it's like so many things that's been going on in the forefront. It's like amazing, especially with like crypto cards coming out as payments. You have now companies trying to push stuff to the forefront like Lolly, and they're trying to
Oh
give
yeah,
people.
I'm connecting with them now.
Oh, that is like amazing. That is such
Yeah.
a that's it's like it's crazy because it's like they've been doing so much for the space and a lot of people really don't recognize it. Like that is huge when you could get crypto back off of just your everyday purchases. Like who wouldn't want that?
Exactly, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's it's just like a really good time and yeah, let's keep pushing it.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. So I know that you've been pretty busy and you got a lot of stuff that you got going on, and I know you got a couple of things to get ready for. So any last words that you have for the audience, just to teach them exactly more of what you're doing, and just a word of encouragement.
Well, so about what I'm doing, I guess like I'm just trying to be my best I can give my best, you know, and keep doing it every single day that I'm here. And my next goals are, doing events in different places, hoping to expand to the U.S., starting in New York, but who knows where I'll go from there. And words of encouragement, just on the other side of fear is courage. So how courageous can you get? That's the question, and find your courage, and because it's on the other side of fear. So whenever you're feeling afraid, what I do is like, the fear is there. Listen, it's there, but it's up to you how you use that fear. And so for me, I've just been like, I I feel it, but I just push through it, and that's why I have routines. I live in a way where I'm still flexible. Listen, I my day, not every day is exactly the same, but there's things that I do every single day that help me keep me in that good space, in that good place. So yeah, that's that for me.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely some really beautiful words of encouragement. And I always say too, it's like if it's something that you're doing or thinking about doing and it makes you scared, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. That's exactly it. It's that simple. And
Yeah,
whatever you give out, you receive back. So make sure what you're putting out there is something that you want like coming back to you.
exactly.
That's what I believe in. So when I'm
Exactly.
out there and I'm speaking to people, I just want to make people feel good around me.
Yeah,
Because you know what? I want to feel good too. So like let's be in that headspace. Because we
yeah,
can always find separation. Listen, we can always um find differences, but we can also always find similarities. So I want to focus on that in my life.
exactly. 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 That is just about like, the best that is just about the best thing that you could tell anybody. Anybody that's looking for inspiration, anybody that's like scared about doing something, it's literally like these are the things that keeps us going on the daily. It drives us and pushes us in the directions that we need to go and to meet up with the people that will take us to the next level. Because I'm pretty sure it's like when I started out with like, so much fear, not knowing what I'm doing. And it's like as far as it goes, the time goes by, it just keeps getting better and better until almost it's like now it's just being natural. You know,
That's it. You're you. You're just you now, That's and same for me. It's like stream of consciousness. It's just flowing. You're in the flow state.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So it was a pleasure having you on the show, sharing you all these like amazing journeys and stuff that you're doing. Just keep pushing, keep doing all that you could do. And we will definitely, definitely speak again in the very near future. Like we'll definitely stay on top of this because I know for sure we need ladies in the blockchain, especially beautiful ladies in the blockchain. So it's like
Oh, thank you.
stuff is going on. We need to know about it. And as always, we'll always be here to report it and we'll just be putting it to the forefront.
And
So,
thanks for having me. Thanks so much for having me.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, it's been a pleasure, Miss Justina. Mac to Success here. X marks the spot. We're out here pushing for adoption. Go Litecoin, go Bitcoin, go Digibyte, and we're out. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk soon. Peace.